According to Google.com, there are 5 million active podcasts in the world. Figured, hell, what a time to throw my hat in the ring. Guys, welcome to the Grandma's Boy Podcast. Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm here and the sun's out. That means it must be the Grandma's Boy Podcast, but not the After Dark edition. I'm actually doing an afternoon show for a change. We've got a lot of stuff to cover today. We got to go over those Nintendos, guys. Remember to follow me everywhere at Grandma's Boy Pod. Twitter's the best place. Instagram. I have a Facebook. No one ever uses. But yeah, want to say howdy to Twitter, YouTube, and Rumble. That's right. I'm actually streaming on YouTube today. Until they kick me off, screw it. We got some guests today. We got to go with some politics. Actually, let's add him in. Boop. What up, Alex?
How's it going, Kevin?
It's going pretty well.
Happy Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday. Is that what it is? Yeah, I guess so. I don't have to work. So, guys, this is Alex Cole. He's a longtime friend of mine. We went to school together, and he's what our title of our show is all about today. I just remember people telling me, like, you better get good grades and go to college or you'll be a garbage man. Well, Alex took that to heart, and I guess if I had to be a garbage man, I'd like to be Alex. He's all right. He'd be cool. But yeah, he's with A1 Waste Removal. Jackson, you serve as just Jackson, Michigan Center, like area, right?
Basically, Jackson and the immediate surrounding areas.
Okay,
so like,
the little suburbs.
This example is like you got Jackson right here, Michigan Center down here, and then Napoleon is on the other side. So if there's something in between Jackson and where you're located, I'm not there yet, but.
We get
Michigan Center, Grass Lake, Vandercook, East Jackson, Northwest area. Basically circle Jackson and go inside the city as well.
Okay, yeah, because I remember you used to pick up all the way over on Bennett Street for my buddy. And I was like, oh, you just showed up one day. We were drinking super early morning. And I was like, oh, Alex is here picking up trash. Weird. But yeah, Alex is, I think you're the garbage man for pretty much everyone in my family. My grandma, my dad, my other grandma, her landlord pays for her trash. So
yeah,
I don't think they have you yet, but she's over on South Lakeside. Anyway, guys, the reason he's on today, I've been trying to get him on for a while. We finally caught up with each other. Jackson politics is up to some fuckery. And I've invited the great Mayor Daniel Mahoney on, which he said in his comments that he would be interested, but he's not here. So I guess we only hear one side of the story, which is fine with me. So I'm going to play the video you sent me, and then I'm going to have you run it down in your own words and kind of how that affects you and how it's bad for everyone. Because Tuesday is primary day, right?
Yeah, August 8th, Tuesday. People need to get out and put the votes out.
Oh, absolutely. And if you guys aren't from Jackson, that's fine. Just go ahead and find someone that is from Jackson and convince them.
Yeah. The biggest deal is the city people that live inside the city limits because
yes,
there's not a whole lot going on elsewhere.
No,
some millages and stuff like that, but
yeah, it's it's primary time. It's not really, it's not election time yet. Thank God. All right. So I found the video. There it is. God damn it. So, by the way, this is a very unprofessional podcast. If you haven't picked that up, since I was an hour and a half late. So you, okay, there it is. There it is. Come on. Add to stream. There we go. Sometimes the buttons don't match up. All right, so this is what you sent me. This kind of what got me fired up to reach out to you a little bit more. And my dad sent me something too, but I thought this video was a little more layman's terms and appropriate.
Citizens of Jackson, you need to know that Daniel Mahoney and Laura Dwyer Schlechte want to monopolize trash services in Jackson, take away your right to choose your own provider, and destroy small businesses and jobs in the process. They'll exaggerate minor benefits trying to make it sound like a good thing, but we all know that monopolies are never good. Other cities that have switched to single hauler systems have had corruption investigations, exposing the backroom deals and bribery that single hauler systems are ripe for. Worst of all, this takes away your choice and your voice in deciding which business you want to support. If Mahoney or Dwyer Schlechte are elected and we switch to single hauler, you cannot opt out or change providers. You are forced to pay that company, even if they give you terrible service or jack up prices in the future.
My concern is not the concerns of the constituents by far. That's not my concerns.
Your vote matters, and you can help save small businesses and defend your right to choose your own provider.
I want to go back in this video real quick. I wasn't gonna stop it, but we're towards the end anyway. Anyone that is listening that is a Jackson resident and voter, I want you to hear what our mayor just said. I want you to hear that again.
If Mahoney or Dwyer Schlechte are elected and we switch to...
My concern is not the concerns of the constituents by far.
What?
That's not my concerns.
What? One more time. I want to make sure everybody heard that clear.
Service or jack up prices in the future.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
My concern is not the concerns of the constituents by far. That's not my concerns.
You're the mayor.
What are your concerns?
Yeah, well,
Still in your pocket?
Yeah, dodging everybody's questions. Apparently, the first thing I thought of when I saw this video, and I was talking to my dad about it, is that this is some Tony Soprano shit. Like New York, we control the garbage services. That's what Tony Soprano did.
Yeah,
he monopolized the garbage services for the mob.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what kind of where we're going now. I mean, it's like they say, the corruption of the the one business. And I mean, for me, I've seen it in Ann Arbor, Detroit, I think Grand Rapids, Chicago. And I mean, it's more like universal healthcare, but universal trash collection. And if you're modern waste, I mean, you're not that worried about it. But if you're A1 waste, I mean, how many accounts do you have in the city?
Well, right now I have almost 700 accounts total. And I'd say probably close to 50% of those are inside city limits.
So you're looking at literally cutting your accounts in half,
right?
Which I'm sure from a labor standpoint sounds fantastic. But from a bank account standpoint, I mean, they're trying to kill your business.
Yeah, it's not so hot. And the nice thing about being inside the city is the efficiency of everything, because efficiency is the main driving factor in profitability in the garbage industry.
Right.
And when you have houses that are, 10, 20, 30, 40 yards apart, you can hit more of them in less time. And when you have, you lose that city ability to pick up trash in the city, then now you're driving into rural areas where you might have to drive 5-10 minutes between stops to get to the next house.
Yeah, so instead of being able to do, I mean, I don't know how many accounts you service a day, but let's just say 100. I mean, you're looking at maybe doing, if they're 5-10 minutes away, you're looking at what, a third of that, maybe 33, maybe 50 if you're lucky, just because of drive time.
Yeah, it all just depends. Right now, I've got about 130 stops a day on average, and
Nice.
I try to like make it so like I'll have, a little, say like a rural section and a place that has better grouped in the same day. So like we go out to Grass Lake, and that usually takes me like 4 hours to do Grass Lake, and it's about 30 or 40 stops. And then I can get into Michigan Center and do another like 60 stops in like 2 hours. So,
Right. Well, I'm sure logistics, plays such a big role in that.
yeah.
For fuel, for time, for literally everything. I was trying to find a video because I was going to make a joke about you saving time and not feeding small fat dogs, but I don't know where that video went.
Oh yeah.
Alex posted a video of him giving a treat to my grandma's dog, Toby. And I was like, maybe you can do more. No, no. That's one thing about Alex is he's from the community. He's born and bred here. I think you went to Center longer than I did, or right about the same amount of time. And so he cares about his people and his accounts, and you can tell that he'll stop and talk to you. He's in a hurry. He's got money to make, but he's always got a couple minutes to talk to a customer because he knows that's customer service is going to make it better. Yeah. And if you think that whatever company the city basically decides to use, if they're going to even give two shits about you as a actual person and not just an account number, then you're sadly mistaken. Because they're just going to be running those accounts as fast as they can so they can get home and do whatever they do.
Well, the biggest part about when you give away the choice, you no longer have the choice to pick who you want as a hauler or provider.
Right.
You also give up accountability. The company that wins the contract no longer has to be accountable to the citizens, because even if they skip you 50 out of 52 weeks of the year, you're still paying for every single week. So regardless if you have good service or bad service, you still have to pay. There's so many different things. Like sometimes people will don't produce a whole lot of trash, maybe one bag a week, so they share with their neighbor. They put their garbage can in their neighbor's can because they have a big old trash can and they don't produce a lot of trash. Well, that's no longer going to be an option.
Right, that's probably going to be illegal.
Yeah.
Like, I bet you that the city would ticket you for it.
I don't think it'll be illegal, but it won't make a difference because you'll still be paying for a garbage can whether or not you use it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
For 3 months out of the year, you go down to Florida, you're still paying for it. You put your garbage in your neighbor's can, you're still paying. Every house inside the city limits and apartment is going to have a garbage can and an additional fee. And everybody's talking about the taxes and the water bill and everything else being so high. And this is just like one more thing to tack on to it. One of the biggest things that everyone talks about is how it's going to lower prices. And everyone that I've talked to right now tells me that their garbage bill is the lowest bill that they have.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
We're talking, I'm at $35 a month for my largest can that holds 7 to 10 kitchen bags. So you're telling me, it's like $1.05 a day or something like that. Like that's
right.
Hard to come up with. That's such a problem. We need to fix this cost. And then the crazy thing is, I actually looked into what other cities are paying for this single hauler, the rates, and they're not much less expensive than what we're already paying. The free market is really close to what these municipalities and private contracts are already at. And I can just give you some examples. We wrote down all kinds of stuff.
I made notes too.
We got tons of preparation here. Like,
nice. I'm the same way. I'm a notebook person. I got like 5 notebooks right here, always ready.
Just for a couple quick examples here, Ann Arbor, not inside the city. The Ann Arbor charter, whatever that is, like
Yeah.
everything outside of the city, but still called Ann Arbor. They're paying $81 and some change every quarter. Expected to go up to $91 and some change. And
Per resident?
quarterly prices is every 3 months.
Per resident
Prices is 3
or
months.
per household?
per can.
Per can. Okay.
If your house has 2, I'm assuming that it would be double. I'm not sure. They didn't have a listing on that. Some of the places are more than double. Like inside the city of Ann Arbor, I think for 32 gallon and 64 gallon, it's technically free. But Ann Arbor also has a much higher tax rate. They have a lot more higher property values. There's just so much more about. You can't really compare Jackson to Ann Arbor because they're not the same by far. Like there's a huge university out there. Like
Right.
Ann Arbor's not hurting for money.
No,
So,
not at all.
you know, they get the first 2 sizes, the small and the medium can for free. And then if you want to upgrade to the large can, the 96, that's an extra $44 a year, which like, kudos to them. Like that's awesome that they can do that, but not everybody can.
Well, they also have a larger concentration of larger concentration of their population. I mean, so they're probably,
Right.
I'm sure that there's a carrier that's giving them a little break because it's all of that, like you said, real close, boom, 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 boom accounts.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
they say that it's free, but I'm telling you right now, no garbage man is working for free. No garbage man is out there picking your trash up just because they have fun. That's their favorite thing to do. They're getting paid. So whether they say it's free and it actually is, or it's coming out of your taxes, it just doesn't show a line down here saying, 32 gallon cart is however much a month or however much a year. Like that's included in your taxes, whether they say it's free or not.
Yeah, they might be calling it a, like a miscellaneous fee or something. It's like, those weird charges you see on your phone bill.
Right.
That you don't know what they are. They're like just because fees. Well, like you said, I mean, they have to pay for these pickups. Nothing is free.
Nothing is free. Nothing is free.
You said it perfect. I mean, I know you and all garbage men come across some nasty shit. You're not doing that for nothing. I mean,
Right.
waking up early in the morning and just dumping garbage juice all over yourself. That's
Yeah. What do I want to do on my free day? Oh, how about I go pick up garbage for fucking 12 hours?
Yeah, the only time I've ever done that is if I had community service.
Yeah. Lansing's prices are even worse. Lansing, and actually, Kalamazoo or Grand Rapids is about the worst. Lansing, for their large can, is $61 every 3 months. That doesn't include recycling or yard waste. So you want to get on the yard waste and recycling, that's an extra $117 a year. So yearly, for the large can, you're looking at $244 for no recycling and yard waste. If you want that, it's $361.
Do they make them separate the recycling? Like make them do that anyway? There?
Separated as like
you can't put it in your trash?
you have to put it in a separate bin.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is like, so if you don't pay for that extra recycling though, can you, I mean, I know most of you guys don't take yard waste because the dumps don't take it. But
in Michigan, most people don't know this, but there is a law in Michigan that says you cannot take yard waste and put it into the landfill with residential garbage. So a couple of places do take it, like Liberty Landfill will take yard waste, but it goes into a completely separate area. People are like, well, how come such and such takes it? Granger has a spot where you can take and dump it into, again, a separate area, a separate bin, and then that goes into the correct location. It just can't be tossed in there with the regular household trash. There's a law in Michigan that says, we could get hit with big time environmental fees.
is that like a combustible issue or?
It's combustible. I don't really know why. The law doesn't explain to you why, but I tell people, at least I tell them that, hey, this is the law. Whereas the big 3, Granger, Modern, Emmons, will just tell you, no, we don't take it, and not tell you why.
I didn't know it was a law until you just said it. So
most people don't know that. They just know the big 3 won't do it and sit down and shut up.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
I just always accepted. I'm like, nope, we don't put yard waste in there. We would just mix it in with the other trash and have you guys do it. I don't think we've ever done it to you, but I know I've done it with other garbage services I've had. I'm like, I have like a handful of grass. I'm like, I don't know.
Why? Is because if you don't know the why, it's like, oh, well, you say I can't throw leaves in my garbage can, but actually, I can throw leaves in my garbage can. Look, here I am doing it. Like, yes, you can do it. You are fully capable of doing it, but you are not allowed to do it, and this is why.
Yeah, well, I mean, I could come over to your house and strangle you to death. I can do that. Is it legal? I'd have to look up the local statutes on that.
Detail.
Well, and I mean, and you brought up a good point too with the benefits that Ann Arbor has. That's the only time I've ever personally experienced this, like, I call it like universal trash service or the single pickup or whatever.
Yeah.
But also because that was my stepmom's mom lived in Ann Arbor, but they also had like Wi-Fi everywhere.
Right. Yep.
Jackson doesn't have that.
Yeah. Like they're paying a lot out there. That's why their taxes are so high. Like,
right.
You have so much more in taxes, but they're paying for all that. It's not free. It's not free by any means, Yeah,
it is. I mean, it just becomes ridiculous. It's I do compare it to like universal healthcare because, like Canada, for example. Whoa, my TV just turned on magically. That was weird. But I think my dog laid on my remote. But anyways, universal healthcare in Canada, everybody's like, oh, that's a great idea. Like, blah, blah. But, people are waiting 8, 10, 12 months for healthcare. And, I mean, it's not going to the same with garbage. But then you also, in the long run, you're paying for it. The doctors aren't working for free. So it's the same idea of the universe. Like, as soon as the government starts controlling more things, like you said, accountability's gone.
Yeah.
Now we have to get a hold of our mayor to get anything changed. But he said it in the video. He doesn't care. His thoughts are not his constituents. And I'm like, no, that's what we elected you for.
Yeah. And the crazy thing about going back to pricing, well, I'll just talk for a second. The pricing in Lansing is, if you haven't recycling included, that's $10, $11 more per year than what I'm charging right now for my biggest garbage can. They're at $361. I'm at $350. So how is this supposed to save you money? Grand Rapids, they charge. It's really weird. They charge per tip, which means like you fill up the garbage can. They take the garbage to the truck and then they tip it into the back. They charge every time you do that. So like if you have bags outside of it, this is why I believe they do it. If you have your regular garbage can, it's full, they tip it over, and then there's 2 bags sitting on the ground next to it. They put those 2 bags in there, tip it again, and now you're charged that rate twice. So for their smallest can, Grand Rapids charges $3.30 per tip. And now the way that I calculate the monthly cost is to multiply it by 4.33. And the reason for that is because every 3 months there is a month with an extra week in there.
Right.
Sometimes you have 5 Mondays in a month. Sometimes you have 5 Tuesdays in a month. Every 3 months there's one with an extra week. So 4.33 times 3.5 or 330 would be $14.19 per month, roughly, as long as you don't have double tips. For the smallest can, that's a 32-gallon trash can. My smallest is 48. A 32 will realistically hold 1, maybe 2. Mine's going to hold 1 more bag. It's not like groundbreaking or anything like that, but $14 for their cheapest option. The 64-gallon, the middle is $23.82, and the largest is 96-gallon at $33.34. And again, mine's $35 a month for the big can, and when you pay yearly, my prices are significantly lower. So it's like these places have it in effect, And the biggest thing that they're arguing about is the prices are going to be lower. We need to do something about these prices. These prices are out of control. And you're not even going to see a significant savings. You want to give away your right to choose your garbage man to save $1.66 a month? Like,
right. And well, the other thing is, I mean, and this is something I know personally, using you as a service in the past, is one thing that you're missing out on is you may be saving money, but I've seen you where you're like, oh yeah, you should probably only take that one can, but there's a bag sitting next to it. I've seen you're like, you don't charge extra for that. You just throw it in. You'll get that later. You'll take care of that later. Where these universal, any of these bigger companies, a lot of times will just leave it, and not even do anything for you.
Yeah.
And that's the whole difference. These guys, I mean, and not even to talk bad about other services because I don't know anything about them, but these bigger companies are bigger companies. And if they're going to be the ones that win this bid, I mean, me and my dad were talking about it. Do you even have the resources to make a bid that big?
I'm going to bid very aggressively if it does come up. If it does come up, I'm going to bid very aggressively. Right now, I have 2 garbage trucks, and I don't think I would be able to get the entire city of Jackson with these 2, but it would be a great start. And from what I've understood and talked to Mahoney in the past is if they do move forward with the single hauler, it's going to be at least a year, probably longer, before it actually gets put into place. And like, I'm kind of one of those people that's like, if you're sitting at the starting line to run this race, don't be looking way down the track and say, well, there's that hurdle that's way down the track 100 yards and it's so high, like, how am I going to be able to jump it? You're at the starting block. You haven't left. You're going to jump that hurdle when you get there. I don't know how, but you're going to do it. So, like, I'm going to put that bid in, and if I win it, I'm just going to I'll figure it out. I'll come up with the funding and the equipment, I'll figure it out. I'm not worried about that part.
Yeah.
Is how I can do it, because I know I can. Whether it takes a multiple
I have faith. I mean, I have faith in you as much as you've changed, as much as you've grown already with your company. I remember when you were just driving around with that one truck, it was all by yourself, just throwing people's trash in the back, and now you've got that fancy truck and stuff. Did you ever find any help, or are you still just doing it by yourself?
I've had people that help with me, but the thing is, like, when I hired my first quote unquote runner, I hired them to be the person that jumped out of the truck and made it so that I could sit in the truck and answer the phone. Right. I kind of wanted to be like more of a secretary and a driver and let them handle getting the garbage. And they were slowing me down. They were going slower than what I was doing. They weren't running to the garbage cans. And it's like I started jumping out of the truck and going out there and doing it with them. And it's like, listen, if I don't need a helper.
Why are you spending money on him?
Yeah, I don't need a helper. I'm not paying for somebody to ride around the truck and listen to me tell stories and to get out and help me with the garbage.
I'll say if you're paying for that, I'm in. If you're going to pay me for that,
I don't need help.
I just don't do garbage very well.
So that's what I've been doing. I've just been doing it by myself. My girlfriend, Tara, has been helping out with the billing and the paperwork aspect of it. She does a phenomenal job with that. But other than that, man, I'm answering the phone. I'm driving the truck. I'm picking up the garbage, dropping off the garbage cans, cleaning out the old garbage cans, picking up the ones that don't pay. Like, I'm wearing a lot of hats right now.
Right.
Sure.
Oh yeah, no, and it's funny because you brought up something I've ran into a million times. It's like, I've been a manager of so many places, and I'll hire somebody to help me with something, and I'm like, I end up doing it anyway. And I'm like, why did I hire that person? And I do it faster, I do it better, I do it my way, as opposed to yelling at them to do it my way. I'm like, just go home.
Basically, and it's like, you don't need help. You need somebody to do it, to take that off your plate. So why am I going to pay you if
absolutely
you and I are doing it together? I didn't hire so that we could do it together and I had a little bit less work. I hired you to do it and I didn't have to do any of it. So I have a lot less work. And people don't want to
but mentally is what always got me. Mentally, it's like, okay, yeah, you're doing the physical work for me, but now I'm worried about you doing it my way and making sure you're doing it my way. It's almost more work in the end of the day.
Yeah. There's something that I've just had to come to terms with is like people will probably never do it as good as me, but that's because it's not their business at the end of the day. They're just worried about their
This is a paycheck.
That's what they want.
Yeah.
They want to get paid.
Yeah.
They don't care if they do as good a job. They just get, they do good enough to keep coming to work.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a job. It's not a career. It's not a business for them. And, the reason I brought that up, it all goes back to this, one hauler thing that we know our garbage. At my grandma's house, I know Alex shows up and picks up my grandma's garbage. We're not going to know who the fuck these people are. We're not, they're, why would they care anything about my grandmother? She's a 90-year-old woman. They don't care. All they see is a garbage can and a city paycheck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
I've got people that want me to come out to them, but I don't go out there that far, and they're telling me, like, yeah, the garbage man is putting notes on my mom's garbage can and saying, like, really rude things about how they got to do this, they got to do that, they got to blah, blah, blah. And he's like, they're old. They can't always get it, where they need it to be. And their driveway's on such a slant or a hill or something like that where they can't have it right on the road because it won't stand up there. It'll tip over, all these different things.
Right.
I'm just not there yet for his area, but...
and I mean, that's growing pains, and that's something, every business goes through. But that's a perfect example. Like, with my grandmother, this whole podcast is based all around my grandmother, she raised me. I was,
sure.
I love her like a mother. And, I mean, I know that most of the time they bring their trash can out, especially, I understand you starting to charge for curbside versus not. But I know there's been a couple times where she hasn't had her trash can out, but Alex pulls in, gets her trash anyway. She's 90 years old. She just beat cancer. And I mean, Alex knows that, but some, Joe Schmo from whatever company they hire, they're not going to give a fuck. They're going to no garbage can. They're going to drive right past, they don't care. And it's like you said, accountability. Instead of calling Alex on the phone and saying, hey, Alex, you fucked up. You have to call fucking the city and talk to Daniel Mahoney, who's told us he doesn't care. Basically, I mean, why are we? The problem is, and I knew this was going to be a more political show than normal, but one of the big problems is that they're trying to turn Jackson back into one of those long-time Democratic ran cities, like a Detroit, for example, that. On the surface, everything looks great, but it's the corruption, just everything from that end. L.A., Baltimore, Cleveland, New York, these cities that are Chicago, literal shitholes now because of crime and this and that, corruption and everything, are all longtime Democrat-ran cities. Now, I'm not saying that maybe if it was a Republican-ran city, it'd be different, but I mean, Chicago is nicknamed Chirac for a reason. They all just keep hiring Democrats, and they just come in and they're like, we're worried about crime, but what are you doing about crime? They're like, talking about it. It's ridiculous. And that's actually one thing I put in my notes in case Mr. Mahoney joined us. He talks about crime rates. I looked up the Jackson crime rate statistics. Like, that was his big platform. And it's like, it's really, in some cases, it's much, much higher. And when it is lower, barely. It's like, there was 3 less purse snatchers last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there was 2 more negligent homicides. So
I'm a part of a group on Facebook called We the People of Jackson. Pretty interesting group. I recommend people check it out if they haven't. I'll
put them in the chat.
They one of the like admins in that group, she's like really really active on social media. And Mahoney, when he was talking most recently, when his live broadcast was talking about violence going down and that kind of stuff, she got on that post and was just like dropping some straight facts. And it was just crazy because he was saying, oh, yeah, I'm going to tell you the facts. I'm going to tell you the facts. And then never told us any facts. I'm going to tell you what I've done. I'm going to tell you what I've done to make Jackson better. And never said what he's done. Like,
Yeah,
it's crazy to me how he just talks about what he's going to do.
Yeah,
and
never does. Well, that's Democrats. I mean, and
that's politicians in general.
Well, yeah, it's funny. Any of my other shows, especially the last probably 2 months, I've talked about that. It's like especially Democrats, but Democrats just have the longer tradition of at least now they're bullshitting us, but right to our like they're trying to be sneaky. At least a lot of other politicians are like, we're gonna fuck you, and they just tell you that to your face. Yeah, okay. But the big thing is everybody has a plan, or everybody knows what the problem is. But what is the plan? And no one knows what the plan is, and that's a whole harder thing to do. You know?
And all they gotta do is say, "I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna change it."
Yeah, here's the problem, and we're like, "Yeah, that's the problem." He's like, "We're gonna fix it." And we're like, "Yeah," but then we're like, "How?" And he's like, "I don't know."
No, we don't even ask how. We're like, "Cool, you got my vote."
Yeah. I care about that thing too.
Yeah.
I'm just putting that Facebook group in the chat right now.
Speaking of that,
I think I know who you were talking about. I saw the comment. I think
she was talking about like 70 or 80% of the violent crime is committed by like 1/3% of Jackson's population. Like they're repeat offenders. And it's 1/3% of the population of Jackson, 0.33%, not even 1%. And she said the reason that the crimes have gone down was because like so many of these people had died in the past year. And like, the crime dropped because these guys killed each other. And so they're not really killing other people. Like, I was just like blown away. I was like, damn, that is.
Well, and the other thing is the other reason it went down is because the other percentage of them got reincarcerated. Their recidivism rate. So it's like, okay, so half of them are dead, half of them are in prison. Crime's down. Like, but it's not. It's not at the end of the day because it's, the population drops. Okay, so if you see a 30% drop in murders, but you see a 60% drop in population, it's actually not a 30% drop in murders overall per capita kind of idea.
Yeah.
And that's where I stand. And that's, it's just the facade that politicians put up. And, I'm not saying Republicans or Democrats are any better. I don't have faith in either side anymore. It's about the people and what they really stand for, and I honestly, I don't live in the city. I don't vote in the city. Obviously, my dad's very active in politics in the city. But I mean, I work in Jackson. I live in Jackson. I've been here my whole life. Drive through it every day.
Yeah.
I lived on the corner of Morel and Blackstone for 2 years, and I saw some shit that that Mahoney claims he's trying to take care of. But I'm just like, no, what he's doing? He's taking a deep breath because the last homicide in Jackson was right outside of the city. So he goes, whew, not my problem. He was looking at a map going, whew, one street off. Awesome.
Yeah.
And that's not, and that you can't, he shouldn't think like that because even if, they're right outside the city, that's only because they crossed the block. They're probably city residents and they're going to commit that crime in the city too.
Yeah.
And I just don't see any long-term plan for it. Jackson's getting worse and worse as far as violent crimes. And I mean, and that's not even statistics. I can look at statistics all day. I work and have worked in shitty bars, nice bars. I've worked in bars in this town my whole life. I see the crime. I see the people. I hear them talking about it. I like it, it's not just this is what the statistics say. Like No, I've witnessed it. I've seen it, and it's not getting better by any means.
Right.
And it's just really frustrating.
Up real quick. You had mentioned like if I forgot to pick up your garbage or something like that, you can give me a call and I'll go out there and make it right. One thing I thought was pretty funny with the city of Lansing, they have, let me find this real quick. They have like what to do's and also what not to do's. So if trash gets missed, right here.
Hey, I'll see if I can pull that up so they can see it. Was it Lansing? What to do if trash gets missed? What to do if trash gets missed?
It's at lansingmichigan.gov, and it's down on there. Trash guidelines.
I'm just gonna see if I can pull it up as a graphic. Recycling, yard, and trash waste. That's lansingmichigan.gov.
Yep.
All right. I had a bunch of this stuff pulled up, but I got real tired last night and didn't save it because I'm a retard. All right. Let's see here. Find collection schedule, trash, yard waste, sign up for service, report an issue.
You're looking for like these pictures.
Yeah, I don't.
And then it's going to be that one. It's going to be
go ahead with your point while I pull it up.
The funny thing is, it says like if your cart gets missed, call the people within 24 hours of your scheduled pickup, and then do not report the issue on social media. They don't want everybody to know that they're doing a shitty job.
No, well, the thing is if you don't think that the mayor of Lansing isn't talking to the mayor of Jackson, and they're trying to help their buddies out. That's a Democratic ran city as well, so you post that on social media. Well, then people like me or you sitting on a shitty podcast, is going to go pull that up on social media and go, well, this is why we don't want this.
Right.
And that's, that's suppression that, one of the things Mahoney said in his original platform was he wanted to shoot for, government transparency. And that right there is actually a really good example, even though it seems small, a really good example of the opposite of government transparency.
Whitewashing.
Yeah, exactly. You want to post it all over social media. That's what we do in this day and age. Yeah. I mean, we're all Karens in our own way sometimes. But, the thing is, if I don't know my garbage collector and he misses me twice, I'm going all over social media. But like with you missed my trash. I figure something's up. I'm going to call you first before I fucking, make your, or, throw dirt on your name, Now, if you don't show, if you say, I'll be there in an hour and you don't show up in an hour, we're going on Facebook. But
and so if you do miss trash day, you schedule a pickup, right?
Right.
It's $77 for them to come out on not your garbage day.
If they miss it?
If they miss it, if you miss it, if you want it gone before next week, you don't want a garbage sleepover for the rest of the week, $77.
That is ridiculous.
You give away your ability to choose. That's what happens.
I want to see how many $77 deposits are in the mayor of Lansing's bank account. That's what it sounds like to me.
Hey, probably none. They probably wait till it gets to $7,700.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's probably 100 people at least that do it every week. So that's stupid. You know what? At that point, if it was me, if I live in the city, I'm throwing it right out in the middle of the city street. They'll come and get it eventually. They don't know. As long as you don't have like some mail in there.
Don't let it get tied back to you.
Yeah, exactly. If you just got a bunch of dirty diapers in there, come and get me. Come and find me.
That was crazy is Mahoney was saying that Jackson is the only city that does garbage like we do. The only place, that's like big enough to do like a contract.
Yeah, we're not talking about Norval.
Do the contract for all these independent companies. Well,
yeah.
This is from Kalamazoo. You can't really see it, but it's Kalamazoo.org, whatever it is.
Okay.
KalamazooCity.org. And right here it says regular household trash service is not provided by the city and must be arranged privately. Kalamazoo, huge city, way bigger than ours.
Yeah, I don't know what the population is, but I know I looked that up before because I was covering a basically a giant environmental pollution cover-up, and they're talking about how the population of Kalamazoo isn't high enough to worry about. And I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, that was our great governor of our amazing state, Mrs. Stretchy Gretchy is what her name was in high school. Gretchen Whitmer. Population of Kalamazoo. And that is actually something that is confirmed. I have talked to people she went to high school with who her nickname was Stretchy Gretchy. All right, so according to Google, Kalamazoo's population 73,257. So Jackson's population
about 30.
I would have thought that Kalamazoo would be higher than that actually. Oh wow, that can't be right. This is 149,000.
Probably Jackson County.
Yeah, that must be Jackson, city of Jackson. Let's try city of Jackson. I bet you that's Jackson County. City of Jackson population. 31. Yeah, you're right. 31. So I mean, what we're looking at was that half? About half?
Yeah,
give or take. A little bit more than half, but still, right. I mean, so Kalamazoo doesn't do it. Why are we doing it?
They offer recycling
politics
out there, and bulk trash 4 times a year. So every quarter, you get like one day where you can put out bulk trash. And that was one of the big points was Mahoney said, yard waste, bulk trash, prices lower, and almost none of that is consistently true. In Lansing, you don't get bulk trash taken for free. You have to pay. You have to set it up in advance. You have to fill out this form. Like, think of all the hoops you got to jump through, right. And it doesn't happen. Ann Arbor, they won't take furniture. They keep trying to tell you to donate it, and it's like you just keep on going down this list, and like, what if your couch is completely destroyed? No donation center is going to take your couch. What do you do? And
my little brother worked for St. Vincent de Paul, and he'd go and pick up donations. And he was trained to look for bed bugs and stuff. He's like, 75% of stuff we won't take. We tell him, sorry about it.
Right. Can't do it.
No. Well, I mean, bugs is the one thing. But yeah, if it's just even tore up, like a donation place is not going to take that. But then they have to pay to dump it.
To throw it away. To dispose of it.
Exactly. And that's ridiculous. And they're not going to do that because, even like Goodwill in St. Vincent de Paul, they are non-profits, but they're a for-profit type company. They still don't want to lose money.
Non-profit is just a tax designation.
Yeah, it's
they're still profiting. They're still making money. Well, just putting it back into the business. So at the end of the day, don't make any money.
This might be a little outdated, but last I knew, the CEO of a nonprofit, I think, can make up to $250,000 a year.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Not like you think like, oh, they're such good philanthropists. I'm like, well, tell that to their 8-bedroom house on a lake somewhere.
They're not going to stay open if they're losing money. They just can't. Like nothing.
I mean, it's still business, whether it's nonprofit or not.
Yeah, you can't lose money every month and keep your lights on and your doors open.
Right. But yeah, no, that's ridiculous. And I was looking, for shits and giggles, I looked up Ann Arbor, the city of Ann Arbor's population. Only 121, which, compared to Kalamazoo at 70,000, well, That's really not that many people. It's like so Ann Arbor is basically a Kalamazoo plus a Jackson, and they have this one pickup, but Kalamazoo doesn't. That's insane.
Right.
Well, it's insane in the fact that they're trying to push that on us in that way. It's literally just it's a smoke show. They're trying to watch what we're doing with this hand while we finger you with this one. Is really what it comes down to.
Basically, and the brush and the yard waste is almost not included with any of them. Like Grand Rapids is not included. Lansing, it's not included. You got to pay extra. Ann Arbor, I don't believe that they're included either. Kalamazoo does recycling and yard waste. A compost. You can't have grass or leaves in your regular compost pickup.
That's fair.
And again, I think it goes back to the combustion issue. But it's just, that's one of the arguments is...
Yeah, well, the compost is, compost is extremely combustible. It creates heat.
It's creating gases, releasing heat. So, it's...
I've had compost piles go, light on fire on me.
I bet.
Nowhere. Why is that on fire?
We've had grass piles just in the backyard pile up and it starts smoking I guess that's why you don't get throw trash in, or grass in the trash. No grass in the trash. That's a good one.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, and I like I said, when it comes down to it, I made it more political than not, but it really and truly, it's this does hit me because you've always been a good friend of mine, and you're just a small business you're a small fish in a big pond. But I mean, right now you're competing with the big fish. But what they're trying to do right now is stop you from competing with those big fish.
Well, it's because they know that they can't compete with my customer service. If you look at my reviews on Google,
absolutely,
I have all 5-star reviews, and it's not just myself; it's all the little local independent, because we give a shit about the people. The big companies,
right?
I say that the big banks are too big to fail, and the big garbage companies are too big to care. If you're mad, you're upset, you want to leave, hey, guess what? I don't care. Just do me a favor.
Where are you going to go?
And get off the phone. You'll go somewhere else. That's cool. Great. I don't care. Just shut up and get off the phone, because I got 10 calls on hold right now that are trying to sign up and give me their money. So you think we care about losing one? Have a good day.
Right.
Oh, let me take. Oh, you don't like the other garbage company? Well, welcome to ours. You're going to learn to not like us very soon. Come on in. But for the time being, we'll take your money.
It is probably owned by the same person. It's probably the same exact people. They just paint their trucks different colors or something, And that's what's ridiculous. I mean, there's
a lot of different people that
enough monopolies.
Luckily, it's not quite like that yet, but it's not like the media where all the companies are owned by the same place, but.
But that's the thing is, it sounds like they're trying to make it that way because, like I said, if you don't think that the mayor of Lansing isn't talking to the mayor of Jackson, who isn't talking to the mayor of Ann Arbor, Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, you're insane. They're talking to each other. Yeah. So they're like, hey, if we all get on the same thing, then at the end of the year, we can have a big party and I'll donate to your campaign, which means they split the checks up 6 different ways. It's really what it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Nuts and bolts of it, I guess.
I don't know a lot about that, but it doesn't sound like a far-fetched,
I mean, like I said, everything I know about this situation from the moment I heard about it, I thought Tony Soprano in The Sopranos, Italian mobster, they control the trash. They're like, no trash guy comes in. They're like lighting their trucks on fire and shit. I mean, I don't think it would get to that. I hope not. But, I mean, it could. We're headed that way. And it's just more government control at the end of the day. Because it's not, the company is a big deal. But at the end of the day, who's their boss? Who do you call? Your local politicians who hired them. So it's more government control than anything.
Yeah. They close at 9, or they open at 9. They close at 4. They're gone for an hour and a half at lunchtime.
And if I was to get a hold of them and ask if they want to be on my podcast and talk about something, they wouldn't even read it. just like Mr. Mahoney has done to me. Motherfucker left me on red. Real quick, just because I want to show everybody. So this is, let me pull up the right screen here. So this is my Facebook Messenger. So I made sure there was nothing shady going on. So this is my interaction with Daniel, and I emailed him as well to his City of Jackson, the email address that we gave him as citizens. But so I go. This was after he put out that live video that you tagged me in, and I commented on it. Hey, you want to be on the show? Very polite, very professional.
Right.
So hey, Daniel, I can shoot you a link so you can join, because he asked if he could join on a remotely, and I was like, I know this is a busy time for you, so I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us, because one of his other things is I'm a person. I'm one of the people for the people. Well, blah blah blah. It'll probably only take 30 minutes tops. Literally, I expected him to jump on and then realize he's in over his head and leave. But then, so today I sent him because I was running late. Good afternoon. Sorry for running behind, but we'll go live in just a couple of minutes. If you'd like to join us, here's the link. So I sent him the same link I sent you. And if anyone sees that and joins, I'm probably going to deny you, just so you know. Unless you're Mr. Mahoney. And so we've been live and talking for nearly an hour, 57 minutes. And right hand of God on my kids, there's been no requests to join and talk. Now, I do have a little bit of a downside in the fact that Daniel Mahoney hates my dad. And so I originally emailed him from the Grandma's Boy Podcast Gmail, but then once he went live and I wanted to comment, I used my personal Facebook, so he knows. And I think he knew that the reason he hates my dad is because my dad's like me. We're going to say what we got to say, and he doesn't have a retort. So he's like, no, we're not. Either that or a political advisor went, don't do that podcast.
Well, what's crazy is he tried to save face and be like, oh yeah, I'd love to be on the podcast as long as we can do it, can I do it remotely? Yeah. And
that's the thing. Yeah. I'm not going to, even with you, I didn't even think about that because I told you before, oh yeah, come down to the studio. Not at Grandma's anymore, so I don't have the studio set up. But so many people in the podcast world, like I said, it was
right.
How easy was it? I just sent you a link and you just click on it and type in what you want your display name to be and hit go, and you're here. Yeah. That's all it takes. You can do it off a cell phone. You don't need a webcam necessarily. You don't need a microphone or headphones necessarily. My dad did it literally on his porch with his phone like a boomer, just all looking all fat. He did. It was a great show too. It was fun. We had a great time. But my point is again, I mentioned before the transparency that he preaches. Well, true transparency, there would be a third box at the bottom of this screen. Yeah, and there would be, and I looked up the proper way to, identify when you're interviewing a mayor, and apparently it's Mr. Mayor. And but the thing is, he didn't show up. So to me, I think calling him Mr. Mahoney is as much respect as he's going to get out of me. That's what it is.
Yeah, and it's viewers show up because I really, I did my research and on that live feed, I asked him about the single hauler, and
yeah, I saw that.
I didn't have the
Mahoney notes.
Yeah, I didn't have the research at that time to kind of fire back at him because he was like, no, the cities. I told him, he said that the cities are paying so much less money, and yard waste is included, and bulk items are included. Well, they're not paying that much less money, and the bulk items are not included, and the yard waste
they're not, yeah.
in one city, and everything else is extra for the whole rest of the show. And it's like, I told him, well, it's because those places have municipal landfills and transfer stations. And he was like, well, no, they don't. And I went and searched and made a list, and I'm counting right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in Michigan. This isn't even a complete list, but this is just a list of some cities and townships that have a municipal landfill or a transfer station. And that's part of Jackson's big problem. Why garbage is less affordable is because we have to go to these for-profit companies that own the transfer stations and the landfills. And so our prices are basically set by those transfer stations and landfills. And who are the ones that own it? Modern Waste, Granger, Waste Management, like big-time players in the garbage industry. And so if the little guy is charging $30, $35, why would they charge anything less? Like, their name is out there as like somebody you know of. I'm just starting out. If I meet somebody in the grocery store and I say, oh yeah, I own A1 Waste Removal, 9 times out of 10, they've never heard of me.
Really?
But 9 times out of 10. But my name is getting out there. I got a really good name, I think, in A1. like that's a good brand in my opinion. But it's
I love the name. I love your logo. I think it's a very good brand, and the fact that you are local, and you can tell that you actually do care about your local, your little people, because without us. And you brought up a good point. It's like, yeah, like Modern is going to charge the same as you, but they're paying less because guess what? They have a landfill or a transfer system. Like they're not paying the cost that you are to drive your truck in and dump your shit at their place.
Right.
And
they're paying for the wages for the employees, but guess who actually pays for that is the regular people and the businesses that come through there on a daily basis. They probably hit close to 10,000 a day off of that transfer station.
I mean, I guess at the end of the day, if you're a politician and you have a little bit of play and a little bit of way to maybe control that, why wouldn't you want a piece of that? I would. That's why I don't do politics. That's why I talk shit on the internet, because I'm telling you flat out, if you ever see me running for politics, I will be corrupt.
If you ever see Kevin vote for Kevin signs, no, this motherfucker is out here just like, hey, who's going to give me the most money?
Yeah. The difference about me compared to most politicians is I will tell you that when I knock on your door to put a door hanger on, I'm like, so here's the deal. I'm not gay, but $20 is $20. That idea, like I'm not saying I'll be corrupt, but I can be corrupted. I'm a cheap about that.
Pretty much it can be corrupted.
Yeah. By the way,
I guess you can, but you have no idea until you have that level of power.
Yeah, well, it's like I work in clubs and strip clubs, and it's a stripper mentality where, like, especially younger girls will come to me. That guy said he would give me $500 to have sex with him. Well, most people are like, oh, I'm sorry, honey. I'm like, no. I'm like, well, what is your price? Oh, I don't have a price. Bullshit. I have a price that I would fuck that dude. So I'm not saying it's a small number. Right. But, people don't realize how much money $10,000 is. But I just got a notification. I got a new follower, and I'm glad to see it because I think I know who it is. The screen name is K Comment, which would be. I think we both come to the same assumption. So if you're listening, Kevin Comment, how you doing, man? I'm glad you joined us. This is a great show. If you missed anything, go back and rewatch a lot of this. He's on our team, or at least he always was, or similar ideas, mindset wise. But yeah, we're a little over an hour. So I'd like to do a 2-hour show. We can keep talking about this issue, which will come up some more. The big thing about it is guys, go out and vote. Make sure your voice is heard. I showed you the video, and I can play it again if you want. I probably will clip it and repost it about him not caring about the constituents, guys. Rethink that. I'm not even going to endorse a candidate.
Let's just break down what that says, though, for a second. My main concern, by far, are not the constituents. That's a fancy way of saying I don't care about the citizens of Jackson. And he's very articulate, and he said it in a way that most people are going to be like, oh, I don't even know what a constituent is. I'm not a constituent. He cares about me. I know that. The constituents probably those rich people and the fat cats. No. We're all the constituents.
Yes, the voters. The voters are constituents, people. Constituents means the people they represent. Which means what? Obviously we're not constituents if he's not representing us. We are marks. Don't be a mark. I mean, that's really what it comes down to it. I mean, I have a shirt that says the biggest mistake you made was thinking I was a sheep I was a sheep, not a wolf.
Yeah.
And it's powerful stuff. But yeah, guys, so go and vote on Tuesday, the primary. Honestly, we could kind of beat this if we get them out of here Tuesday. It won't happen. He will probably get the Democratic nomination. But like I said, I'm not going to endorse any candidates. That's not what I'm here for. I don't live in the city. I care about the city, but do your research. A simple Google search. You can go onto the jackson.gov and see all of the people who are running, and you can simple Google search every single one of them. And see videos and info and where they're from and what they do and how they want to do it. The info is out there. Don't be lazy. Don't vote for the slick talking black guy. I'll say it because I don't care.
Let me tell you, right now there are 3 candidates for mayor of Jackson. There's Laura Dwyer Schlecke, the incumbent Mayor Daniel Mahoney, and then John Wilson.
John Wilson. Yep. I know John well through my dad.
I just met him recently. The first time I ever met him was last weekend at a community trash cleanup. We went down and we cleaned up the area between like 4th Street and West Avenue and Morrell Street and Franklin.
Okay, so, yeah, that's a terrible area.
We had
trash and garbage.
7th. Yeah, there was a lot. And we put pictures online, and we had a lot more trash than what they expected to come out of there. There's 2 garbage cans, 2 96s completely full, a big old gas tank, a computer chair, and probably like 20 more black bags full of garbage.
Oh, I believe it.
So there was probably...
I lived in that area for a while, and I'm like, the shit that people just throw into the road.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Or on the edge of the road because it got pushed to the edge.
Or the garbage carrier didn't, or it fell out of the can and the garbage carrier didn't pick it up.
Well, and Modern and Granger have these like side loader trucks now.
Yeah, I saw that.
Too much crap about it because it's crazy efficient, and eventually when I get big, I'll probably go that route. But my biggest thing is going to be my number one rule: everything has to be in bags. All the bags have to be tied.
Right.
That's still going to be in place regardless if I have 1 million garbage trucks or not, because it keeps loose trash from falling outside of the bin. And when they go and they dump those with those side loaders, or even they have like front loaders that do residential as well, if you got loose garbage, the wind is going to blow around and that stuff is going everywhere, and they do not pick it up 1,000%. Especially if they're in those side loaders, they are not getting out of their truck. They don't even want to get out of the truck. Matter of fact, Modern will charge $6 to $10. I've heard different prices depending on who you're talking to and when the price is charged.
Right.
But if they have to get out of their truck because there's an extra bag on the ground, $10, $6, whatever it is. if they have to get out of the truck to turn the can around so that it's facing the correct way so they can empty it, $10. Every time they get out of that truck. So could you imagine paying an extra $10 a week?
Because
$40, $50
they are too lazy to pick something up off the curb.
It's laziness, but it's more so efficientness.
Yeah.
Like the reason that they got these side loaders, these trucks brand new are $300,000 a piece.
I'm sure.
The reason they got these trucks is so that they can go down the road and hit those subdivisions and clear out 800 stops in 30 minutes.
But that's not doing you any good if, at the end of the day, there's a bunch of trash left on the street.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I understand the rule of wanting Tide bags and everything, and I really do. I get that, and I stick by it. But at the end of the day, your number one concern should be picking up the trash so it's not laying everywhere. And so is it really that much of a big deal for you to throw that bitch in park, take your seatbelt off, jump out, and pick up a grocery bag that I had inside of a big bag that fell out?
It doesn't
or
like
6
it.
Water bottles.
You would think, like, people all the time will say, like, oh, well, it's just a minute. Just like an extra minute.
Well, that's forever. When you're talking about efficiency.
In a day, 800 stops in a day, 1 minute every stop, that's an extra 800 minutes a day. Now you can't do 800.
Yeah, you're talking about, what's that about? That's about 15 minutes, which,
no, that's way more. 800 minutes? That's
800 divided by 60? I don't know. I'm terrible at math.
That's 13 extra hours.
How much?
800 minutes divided by 60 is 13.33 hours.
Oh wow! Yeah. I missed my decimal.
It's not your fault. Nobody thinks about it. No one thinks it's that big of a deal. Everyone thinks that, it's just because, like, they don't see the other 799 stops. All they see is their can down at the end of the road. Right. And how come you left garbage, or you didn't do this, or you didn't, like, how come I'm getting this charge for $10 for getting out? So, like, at the same time where I understand why they do it, I also understand, like, the customer's perspective. And it's like...
Right, and that's why I honestly believe that you'll retain more customers than these companies ever will. Because of the customer service mentality. And actually, Daniel Mahoney saying he, not basically doesn't care about the constituents, that is the mayor's version of customer service. And his customer service is terrible. And but like I said, that's the difference. Is like, okay, you clean out your car, you had a water bottle, you throw it in the trash can, so they go with these side loaders, they dump it out. Now the water bottle is rolling around the street. Is that a pain in the ass to get out? Do I understand the business end of it? Absolutely. Right. But if you do that now, same thing, you have 800 stops, 800, that's all those hours, but now you have to pick up 300 water bottles because you didn't stop for 1 minute. How much longer is that going to take?
Yeah.
Or the city's going to have to pay for, or I have all this trash in my yard, and
customers are mad.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the first thing. If I'm doing everything, at least I think I'm doing everything right now, but then maybe I accidentally throw a water bottle in my trash can, but now it's rolling around my yard. I'm blaming the trash guy. Every time. Unfortunately, that's the way it works. That's your problem. Once I put it in that bin, that's your problem. And I mean, that's a terrible mentality, but that's how people are.
They do. A lot of people think that way, and people have been asking me, like I'll tell them my rules, and they'll be like, "Well, what happens if, like, my son or somebody walking by or blah blah blah? They put, like, a cup in there occasionally, or they put something in there not in a bag." I just tell them, "I'm not going to take it."
Right, that's fair.
I'm going to take it.
That's fair. I mean, I honestly, from a customer standpoint, I have never seen my family that use you or friends where you haven't, like, if there was I've never seen shit in the bottom of the garbage can. Like, it's usually gone, but that's because, again, your customer service is head and shoulders above any company out there, and I've paid for a lot of garbage service, and I've been mad about a lot of garbage service.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I still, anytime I hear anybody talking about, oh, I got a new house, I moved here. Like, you got garbage service? I know a guy. And word of mouth, is more valuable than anything.
Yeah.
So,
word of mouth, it takes being told to do something one time by your friends. You might have to see the TV or the radio commercial 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times before you're like, you know what? Let's give that guy a try. Let's give that guy.
Or flyers on your door that you're going to throw in the trash can anyway. But yeah, you ignore commercials. We're trained to ignore. We're such like, the streaming services, Netflix and everything. We pay for no commercials. So when you're watching TV, you see a commercial, you're like, it's blinders. And word of mouth is important. And I think that you've done a fantastic job of that. I mean, as far as our graduating class goes, like, who would have thought that the trash man would have been one of the most successful businessmen to come out of the class? It's like, well, actually, it's not like we even thought you were going to be a trash guy when we graduated.
I was really lucky to fall into this position. I was driving taxi cab for many years, and I was working as a manager. And the boss come in, and he said, "Hey, when the garbage man knocks on the door, give him this envelope. There's $5 in it." And the guy's name is Ray Allen Hubbard, and he told me $5 in the envelope. I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, it's $5 a week." And I was like, "Oh my God, that is really cheap. Like, who couldn't afford $5 a week? That's less than $1 a day." Like, wow. And then I just sat down and started doing the math, and I was like, okay, that's $5 a week,
$260 a year, right?
$240 a year.
Yeah, that's
times, let's just say $20 a month times 100 accounts. Now you got $2,000 a month, and I was like, damn, I'm only making $400.
Hey.
Like, that's more money than I'm making doing this. And 100 accounts didn't seem like it was going to be that hard to get. And
you probably surpassed 100 accounts way quicker than you thought you would.
Not as quick as I had hoped for. I got it shortly after my first year. And then I got 200 accounts right around the end of year 2, like at the beginning of year 2. Or beginning of year 3. I don't really know how you would break it down, but like, after my second year in business, right at the end of that, I got 200 accounts, and then the third year was the 300 was a little bit before the end of year 3, and then by the end of year 4, I think I had like 500, and now I'm almost to 700. Like, I'm getting closer. I tell everybody I have almost 1,000 accounts because that just that propels it. Like, you tell people
marketing. That's marketing.
You get 1,000 without even it's crazy.
Well, I mean, I watch a lot of Shark Tank, and that is a perfect example of when they talk about exponential growth. Okay, so year 1, year 2, year 3, you literally doubled business. So 100, 200, 300.
Right.
For an investor, that looks great. But then year 4, you're at 500.
Yeah.
Year 5, you're at 7. Okay, now you see that growing bigger and bigger. And that's that word of mouth and people just getting out there because people are set in their ways. They're like, nope, I've used Modern for 30 years. I will always be a Modern fan. And then one day, that Modern guy misses their can or breaks a bag and leaves it. And they're like, fuck this, I'm calling Alex. And that's honestly what they're looking at too. Dude, I'm proud of you. Like, I love seeing you succeed. I love local business, Jackson. I do. I hate Jackson and love Jackson, but that's why I'm really passionate about at least getting the information out regarding this issue, and because it's not that well known. It's not as well known as you think. Mr. Transparency isn't being very transparent when it comes down to it. So, like I said, I'm proud of you. I'm glad that you're doing well. I know it's a rough job, dude. I'm sure you have some of the worst days. I work with strippers So, I mean, even my worst days, it's just because some young stripper decided to be fucking cocky with me. Like, at least I don't go home with garbage juice on me. You know?
You get used to it after a while. Smells like money.
Smells like money. Yeah, see, I love that. I love that. Same thing. Like, you know how many dollar bills I have in my wallet right now that probably smell like butt crack and pussy? A lot. But you know what? It's still money.
Yeah, spends the same whether it's peed on or not.
Exactly. Sometimes it's worth more when it's peed on, depending on what you're talking about.
Peed on it.
But okay, so we're getting to a point. So I wanted to give you an option. Like I said, everybody go out on Tuesday in the city of Jackson and vote. Make sure you check out Alex. Do you have a Facebook account?
Yeah.
Okay, did I tag the right Facebook account? Because there was only like 50 followers on it. I want to make sure that was the right one.
No, I got 736 followers for my A1.
Okay, share that over to my my messenger, and I'll make sure that gets put up. Follow A1. It's A1 Waste Removal, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, follow him. Alex is great. He's customer service unmatched with anyone else. He's local. I mean, hell, he lives. Well, you don't technically live in the city, but you live right outside the city.
Just outside. Yeah,
and he's great. Great rates. Great service. You can't ask for more. Plus, he's a pretty all right guy. So he came on, my little tiny podcast here. So that means something. So any of my followers, you need trash service, that's your man. But I've got about 45 minutes left of the show. If you would like to hang out, you're more than welcome. I'm going to cover some shitty female rappers and probably a good like hood street fight or two. If not, no hard feelings. So it's up to you. If you want to hang out for the next 45 minutes, more than welcome.
Heck yeah.
If not, but I am going to get off of YouTube because YouTube and me have a very abusive relationship. They like to not even spit on it and just put it in my butt. So, all right. Hey, YouTube. Fuck you. Guys, if you're watching on YouTube, go to Rumble. I'm going to put that in the chat. We don't have anybody listening on YouTube. I have more replays than I do live always. Oh, whoa.
Yeah. I think I'm about to jump off here. My girlfriend has a friend's birthday party she wants to get going to. So
no problem, man. I will. This will be up and ready to be shared on YouTube, on Twitter, and on Rumble. So whatever you have, go ahead and share that. I'm going to share the fuck out of it, and I know that there's going to be some local politicians that are going to be very intrigued with this. So no one else I know of has gotten a trash guy on talking about this. So I'll take it. I want to say a special thank you for Daniel Mahoney for not caring about anybody and not showing up to the podcast today. We appreciate it. Don't forget, I do remember, Mr. Mahoney, when you would show up to my dad's shitty bar, McThirsty's, and sing rap songs right before the city threatened to shut us down. So don't forget that. I remember that. I was hoping he was going to show up so I could remind him. He's like, I knew him. But anyway, thanks for coming on, Alex. I really appreciate it. He's been a long-time supporter of the show. Send me that link, and then also send me if you have like a logo or anything. I'll throw an ad up on the show when I do it. So I appreciate it. Go have time with your girl, and hopefully Tuesday, fingers crossed. Maybe we won't have to deal with this anymore, but we will. But vote on Tuesday. A1 Waste Removal. Check them out on Facebook. And thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
No problem. You have a good one, man.
Yeah, you too, man.
All right, see ya.
Yep.
All right, guys. If you're listening on YouTube, which I don't see anybody, go to Rumble. We're going to have some fun, and YouTube doesn't like me to have fun. User / Randomest Boy Podcast. That's the Rumble link. Go check it out. Subscribe, and share. Subscribe, and share on YouTube before I disconnect, guys. I mean, I don't use YouTube that much. but I use it enough. Boop, boop, boop. And plus, it's a great way to shoot over to my Rumble. That's where I stream the most. Or my Twitter at Grandma's Boy Pod. Come and hang out with me sometime, guys. Let's check that. I got a message on Facebook. Let's make sure I didn't. Oh, just Alex. All right, guys. I'm gonna put his link in the chat as well. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Alex Cole. Yeah, that's my boy Alex Cole. He's a great guy. And I don't know if I can put this in the chat. I'm gonna try. Save image as. Doop doop doop. We'll save it as A1. Like I said, I graduated with him. I've known this kid for years. He's just a fantastic person. And you can't help from ask for more when you're paying for a service. That's okay. Hold on. What? All right. Let's see if I can post this in the chat. Maybe not. But I'm just going to put it in there. It's A1 waste removal. Waste removal. We'll put Jackson, Michigan. Literally, if you're around, he'll take care of you. All right. Guys, I'm going to take a quick break because I need to go potty. And then I'll be back, though. Guys, don't go anywhere. I'll be back with some normal show stuff. I got some stuff I wanted to cover and I've missed out on for this, that, or another reason. The Looney Tune. Let's go with those the classic break that the Grandma's Boy podcast is known for. We're gonna watch some old classic Looney Tunes. Again, like, subscribe, and share. If you're on Rumble, thumbs up. If you're on YouTube, thumbs up. That means more to me than anything. Give me 10 minutes. I'm gonna use the bathroom, and and then I'll be back, and then we'll talk some more shit. And I don't know. I don't even know what we're going to cover. I got so much stuff, and I don't want to go over 2 hours, though, guys. So we'll see what happens. I always say that, and it always works. Anyways, I'll be right back, guys. Love you all. Go take a potty, grab a beer.
That's all, folks.
Bye, YouTube.